inauguration on May 29, 2023 of a new government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has again provided an opportunity for a new steer in the direction of all sectors of the nation's life. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation of more than 200 million people, relies heavily on proceeds from its oil and gas resource for economic sustenance, leaving no one in doubt that he understands some of the realities and the challenges and what is required. He made a difficult but necessary policy change.
The first subsidy is gone.
That's just one out of many requiring such tact. Months before his coming, security challenges in the Niger Delta plunged Nigeria into the red zone of 700,000 barrels a day production for one of OPEC's main producers. For over 3 years, Nigeria has been unable to meet its OPEC quota. Its production for November 2023 was 1.25 million barrels per day.
We need to get the hydrocarbons out of the ground as fast as possible to develop our 200 plus TCF of gas resources, to develop our economy and industrialize our nation.
With intense intervention of kinetic and non-kinetic approaches, the numbers are up but far from Nigeria's potentials. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the country's upstream oil regulator, projects in its 2024 document an ambitious target of oil production growth of between 1.8 to 2.6 million barrels per day. But that will depend on several factors, including driving down the average cost of per unit of oil production per barrel to $20 in all terrains, from the current $25 to $40 per barrel. The combined circle of security challenges, reduced investment, and energy transition induced defunding of fossil fuel has impacted Nigeria's oil reserve levels, production numbers, and consequently dwindling revenues. On the upside of things, the Dangote refinery was commissioned, the world's largest single-train 650,000 barrels per day production, with all the potentials of self-sufficiency in refined petroleum products. Then to the mechanical completion of the Port Harcourt refinery, a 60,000 barrel capacity, and just like the Dangote refinery, production is expected to start in the first quarter of this year. On the supply side of things, the effect of petrol subsidy removal is still being felt across board, which includes the fact that supposed daily consumption figures of over 60 million liters has dropped by 38.58%. Let's cross over to the electricity sector in Nigeria and its current index. A little over a week after resumption of the country's top job, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on June 9 assented to the electricity bill, which authorizes states, companies, and individuals to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. But since that action by the president, only a few states have taken advantage of that law.
States that are ready to create a friendly, business-friendly environment will witness influx of serious-minded investors to come and help them generate power and distribute to consumers, and the economy will peak.
Of the 12,500 megawatts installed power generating capacity, grid power stands at less than 5,000 megawatts, leaving millions of households and businesses to rely on private generators for electricity. On the sidelines of COP28, coming on the heels of a 2019 government-to-government agreement, President Bola Tinubu and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz signed an accelerated performance agreement aimed at expediting the implementation of the Presidential Power Initiative to improve electricity supply in Nigeria. The agreement is aimed at accelerating the Siemens Power Project, which has a 2025 deadline for 25,000 megawatts energy capacity. In 2024, there are several big wins the government must score: dealing with the protracted systems collapse, accelerating metering program, improving on the barely 12 million people on this platform, difficult but necessary decision of removing the electricity subsidy. The data shows that between 2015 and 2022, 2 trillion naira was spent. In 2023 alone, 600 billion naira. And while this year's projection stands at 1.6 trillion to be spent on subsidy.
As it is today, we have less than 60% collection rate of billed electricity. So that's actually the first thing that we need to tackle. The issue of the meter gap is there. As at the last estimates, it is confirmed that between 6 million to 8.5 million meters is the gap that we have. So that is the first thing to address. And this will be addressed in a multilateral perspective.
Discos must become solvent or be shown the door, just like Kaduna Electricity Distribution PLC, which has been put up for sale, the 6th largest power distribution utility, over a $130 million debt. In the oil and gas sector, the federal government has been urged to support indigenous players going into oil exploration, as evacuation of crude oil from oil fields are still challenging. Domestic gas supply still trails foreign sales obligations, a trend requiring urgent fiscal regime intervention. Gas is Nigeria's consensus transition fuel, but investment in the production of non-associated gas is abysmally low, and it has all to do with investment incentives.
We have about 4 or 5 companies that have announced the divestments of their assets. That needs to be concluded very quickly, because once you address that, it will unlock new opportunities even for us as indigenous companies.
2 more refineries have been promised to commence production, bringing a combined capacity of 445,000 barrels per day production. Plus the Dangote 650,000, there's nothing stopping Nigeria from becoming a net exporter of finished petroleum products and earning some foreign exchange. 2024 is calling every stakeholder deeper for a brighter side of life. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.